All right, we're ready to go.
All right. Welcome to the May 9th, 2024 Board of Directors meeting of the Asheville-Buncombe Air Quality Agency. Joel Starro is out of town, and in his absence, I'll be chairing this meeting. We'll begin with the public comment protocol announcement. Public comment will be taken at the end of each board meeting. Persons wanting to address the board should sign up on the sheet provided. Speakers will be called in the order they're signed up. Comments should be limited to specific topics relevant to the board. At the board's discretion, limited comment may be allowed on individual agenda items during the course of the meeting, as invited by the chair. All board meetings shall be recorded, including public comment periods. First order of business is the adjustment and approval of the agenda. And Ashley has advised me that there is a correction under item 5, Director's Report, item A, the fiscal year 25 budget discussion. That's actually will be handled under item 4, unfinished business. And so, Betsy, all of those alphabets will be adjusted on the agenda. Any other adjustments to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as corrected.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Now, item 3, consent agenda, is the approval of the minutes from March 14th, 2024. I assume everyone's had a chance to review those minutes. And if so, is there a motion to approve them?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item 4, unfinished business, consideration of the fiscal year 2025 budget. Ashley, would you like to drive us through that?
Yes, thanks, Carl. So in the packet here, we have a spreadsheet. Did a table. There's always some changes after we present the first pass in March. So we did have a few adjustments. And if you have the Excel spreadsheet, it has 2 work tabs. The first one looks just like what's in the board packet, the PDF file, but the second one is called working copy, and that's what I'm working off of. Just want to highlight what we changed since March. We did add some revenue under investment earnings of $5,000. That's projected for next year. This is very conservative. We think it will actually be more than that, but we don't typically put investment earnings in, but we have had significant earnings the last couple of years with a higher interest rate. So that's one thing that changed. Also under salaries and benefits, there's a decrease of just under $2,000. There were some benefits where the cost went down, and that was projected by finance in between March and now. The other change we made is under the indirect charges. There was a substantial increase there. What we had put in was $128,000, and that was what we had projected last year, but we've been advised that we need to increase that up to about $147,000. So that's a $19,000 increase in expenses from what you saw back in March. Just want to point out that the actual amount of indirect in FY23, the far left column, was actually $95,000, and 2024 appears to be $91,000. So it will be a good bit less than what we budgeted for this budget year, which wraps up at the end of June. So there's an increase there. We did have a decrease, let's see, in some of the expenses under insurance and bonds, but those are the main changes. So the net impact of fund balance has actually gone up. We were projecting about $107,000 impact of fund balance to balance the budget. And that's gone up by $10,000. So net impact to fund balance now is $117,000. Again, this is a conservative budget, and we don't normally pull anywhere near that amount out of the fund balance. So we're hoping not to have to do so, but that's where it stands right now. And thanks to Betsy for pulling everything together. Do you have anything to add or?
No. Anybody has questions though? Happy to try to answer.
What is the non-discretionary indirect cost? What sorts of things does that cover?
It covers, building depreciation, IT, which is like $65,000 for our department. Some of it's based on number of, some things are based on number of employees. Now, the county gets an independent agency to do this. It's an extremely long document. It handles all the departments for the county that pay direct. And it pays out too, so it's HR, it's finance, and so it has the breakdown. We knew it was gonna go up, but it's basically all those things that the county does for us. So it's not like reading, but if you wanted to see the budget, if you wanted to learn about budgeting, we do have a copy of the draft. I don't think we have the final. But like 65,000 for an IT person is, that's one of the large portions of that. We have a pretty substantial HR.
Legal and
Legal.
county manager's office and
Those are
grounds maintenance.
Right. There's some of those are typically smaller, but the IT is huge. But I think HR, budget, finance are.
And the general services is sort of equivalent to rent. There's a certain
Yes.
amount that we're paying each month for the building, like that.
And so the note here that 2024 actual was just over 91,000. That's like almost 40,000 different from
Yes.
what was budgeted. So there's a good chance that this 147 is going to be a lot less.
It will probably.
Oh, okay.
They went with a new company. We were pretty shocked by the 91 and the 95. We were budgeted 168,000. That's what we were expecting.
Okay.
So part of it was we stopped funding this. We think we stopped funding the seventh position.
Mhm.
So since we pretty much said we were not going to fill that position, there's certain things that affects.
Mhm.
That's probably not the only thing, but they did go with, like I said, a different company. They didn't like some of the things that the former was doing. So I kind of look at it like we saved $20,000 to $30,000, 23 and 24, and we're paying the piper 25. So.
Okay.
But I don't expect that'll go down in the future, but you never know.
And sometimes they do adjustments every few years where they find that we may have overpaid and then they actually give us a
Yes.
credit. So we think that the 93,000 or that lower figure, we were getting a credit of maybe 10,000 or so. Was that last year or?
Yes. And so you're right, it possibly could be adjusted in the future, but we were told that that's what that they are expecting to charge us.
Okay.
So we have no choice with these numbers anyway.
No. I will say this is positive because typically they don't tell us what they're going to charge us in indirect until like March. They charge it February or March. So we actually know a full year in advance, which I think
That's good.
it is.
And it comes out to be around 15. I haven't done the math on this one, but it's generally maybe 15% of our budget or so when we've looked at what the other air agencies are paying. And it's pretty comparable. So it seems reasonable.
If there's no further questions, is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 budget and authorize Joel as chairman to sign the budget ordinance?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, item 5, Ashley, Director's Report. Start with the non-discrimination policy update.
Okay, thanks, Carl. The non-discrimination policy update, the updated version with the Spanish translation is in the board packet. And that was really the only action item from last time. The board had previously approved it with that change. And so I don't think you guys need to vote again. But we are going to get that posted. We have it posted physically in the office, but we need to now post it on our website. And we're looking at making some updates to the website and what page we want to post it on. So we're planning to get that submitted soon. So hopefully it will be up the next few weeks where there's a bit of a backlog with website updates right now. So But that's in the works.
All right, I don't believe that it does need a action because I think our action last month authorized that translation, so I think we're good on that.
Okay.
B, Asheville-Buncombe Sustainable Microbrewery Project Update.
Okay, so this is mainly about the function that we're having in May. It's on May 21st. I think I sent you all an email, and we have a news story about it right now on the website. It's going to be at Wicked Weed Funkatorium, and it is being sponsored by several different parties. We've got Big Mountain Impact as a consulting firm, and they are playing a lead role in that. They've joined the Asheville Brewers Alliance, and one of the things that they're working on is also promoting energy efficiency in breweries. So we've partnered up with them, and we're going to have our recognition ceremony where we give out certificates to the 4 breweries that participated. And at the same time, we're going to be encouraging other breweries that might like to participate with an internship this summer. We're going to have another partnership with UNCA where we worked with Evan last year. We want to do that same program again, and Waste Reduction Partners has graciously agreed to assist us again. Their engineer Marshall Goers, he went out with a student to do these energy efficiency treasure hunts in the brewery. So it's really about trying to find some more breweries that would like to sign up for this year so we can keep it going, provide some recognition. Duke Energy will be there, and they've got information about incentives for energy efficiency upgrades, and we've got information about the tax credits. And it's a free event, and we're going to have 1 free beer and food. RSVP date is the 12th. So if you'd like to come, please sign up.
And that's 1 free beer per person, not 1 free beer just sitting
Right.
on one table.
All right, so we're excited about that. We are hoping the county internship program that they have implemented this year, it does pay $15 an hour for a student to work 15 to 20 hours a week over the summer. And so we've got that in the budget, and we're going to have to post that. Since it's paid for by the county, we will be posting that and taking applications very soon, hopefully.
All right, Clean Air Excellence Awards recommendations.
So the committee met last month, and we did have 1 nomination. So I'm going to ask Evan to cover that when he gets down to the committee report.
All right, item D, Clean Air Compliance Recognition.
So this is the annual program where we give out a certificate to the permitted facilities that are in compliance with their permit for the whole year. And we have 44 of those this year. There's a list in the board packet, and we're going to be sending out certificates for those probably later this month. So,
Any questions on that? If not, item E, Air Quality Awareness Week, May 6th through 10th.
So special thanks to Gary here. He accompanied me to there's our picture, to the commissioners meeting, and we had a really nice proclamation signed by Commissioner Newman. And so we're going to get that framed. And we also have a news story on our website about Air Quality Awareness Week, which is this week, the first week of May every year. And yesterday was also World Asthma Day. Actually, it was Tuesday. So Betsy's been busy putting out social media posts, and we do have, like I said, the news story on our website with information about Air Quality Awareness Week and air awareness and what people can do to reduce pollution at home. So appreciate the commissioners recognizing Air Quality Awareness Week and the work of the agency and the board.
Thank you, Ashley and Gary, for representing us at that meeting. I think it's important that the commissioners see someone from the board there that is along with Ashley. Item F, monitoring update.
Sure. I don't have a whole lot. Data completeness so far this year to date for PM 2.5, we're at 95.3%. Ozone year to date, 95.6%. AQI values year to date for ozone, so far we've had 7 yellow days, the rest have been green. For PM 2.5, 6 yellow days, the rest green. Currently, for our annual average for PM 2.5, we're at 5.4. I know James in the last board meeting covered the new standard, which is set at 9. So far we're in pretty good shape. Luckily, we weren't impacted by any major fires so far this spring. We did have the Division of Air Quality from the state, ECB Electronics and Calibrations branch came on April 24th and conducted an audit on our ozone, Big Creek ozone station, and that passed.
And we had a special visitor. The state air director and deputy director
Oh, yeah.
came out to see the site. Kevin gave them a tour. At the PM site. They try to get around to all the sites in the state, so I don't think they've been to our new PM site yet.
Yeah, I had mentioned seeing your monitor online. Yeah, they're big on the sensors too.
All right, item G, facility permit renewals. We have Buncombe County Landfill and Cormark International. And it looks like primarily those are changes in agency name and just general clarifications on that. I would like to take both of those together if there's no problem with that. And if so, I would entertain a motion to renew those permits. Motion. There's a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next item, H, facility permit modifications. Tutco, any questions or comments on that modification? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I, new facility permits. A1 Sandrock Inc. And that looks to be a crusher and its various sites, I guess, depending on where they have job locations. So I think we've done other companies like this before.
Yes, and this particular one was permitted before and their permit expired. And then they decided they wanted to apply again. They only come into Buncombe County every so often, so we've actually worked with them before.
I got a question on this. The mobile ones we generally are not concerned with. And mobile means they can stay on site for 1 day less than a year. Is that correct? In reading this?
It's the engine part of that makes it a mobile. Yeah. So you have a crusher. The power of the crusher, which generated the power, is a diesel engine. And this is a definition that EPA defines these types of things that can move around and can go from site to site and aren't physically like bolted down somewhere as non-mobile. But obviously the crux of it is if you planted that thing there and just kept doing something over and over again, and you did it for 365 days, you no longer are mobile. That engine is no longer treated as a mobile source, and so that's when certain regulations for engines start applying. So there's certain ICE regulations, federal regulations about how often you have to change the oil and other parts like that.
So we're not concerned as long as they move it once a year.
Yeah, and especially with this one, they're usually at site for 2 weeks. They're in, they're out. They aren't tied to any physical place here typically at all. And
I wouldn't think about this one so much as if one comes up in the future, our hands are kind of tied.
I mean, yeah, I mean, for this particular one, I mean, if they decided to plop down on one place and do it for 365
Yeah.
days, I mean, as soon as that happens, they would probably be in violation of the permit. I have to go back and look, but I know they would definitely be in violation. They would definitely kick in federal regulations for that engine that would not have applied otherwise.
But there are other regulations on the crushers, the conveyors, the drop points, where they have to meet certain standards for the NSPS for crushing equipment. So we're
Yeah,
more
those
focused on
standards-
that, aren't we?
Those standards still apply.
They
right?
apply
There are
regardless.
capacity standards, for the crushing side of it, that doesn't have anything to do with the engine, the crushing itself. Yeah, there are opacity standards, and those standards apply to mobile and permanent.
And I think that's what we're more concerned with, because there are national standards and they have to use water to minimize the emissions and the visible emissions from the crushing operations. And so in the past, we've had some issues where these units come in to do work on job sites and they've not used proper amounts of water and they've not met those federal requirements. So that's part of the reason that we do and permit them, so that we can use the permit as a compliance tool and find out when they're coming. And the engine requirements, like you said, they would kick in after a year, but we're mostly concerned with the crushing standards.
I've got another quick question. So in the permit application, it says that the equipment may be rented. If they rent the equipment to someone, who is responsible for maintaining the emission standards when it's operating?
The permit team. I mean, so if your name's on the permit, you're the one who is required. And actually, this is the required test for subpart 3.0, which is a opacity test. And already they're ahead of the game.
Any further questions? If not, is there a motion for A1 Sandrock new permit?
Make a motion.
Is that to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item 6, new business, none. Item 7, other business, legal counsel report. I see no report. Item B, advisory committee report. Evan, I guess you're up on that.
Yep. So we met April 18th, and one of the main things we talked about, like Ashley said, was the nomination we received for the Clean Air Excellence Award. This is from the Appalachian Offsets Program from the Green Built Alliance. There was some discussion about which category they would qualify for, and we decided that the special award category, Clean Air Excellence Award, applies to them. So they help install solar, PV solar arrays on structures here in the county. And they gave 3 examples. There's what do we have? A 300 kilowatt array at Isaac Dixon, an 8.2 kilowatt array at St. Paul's Missionary Church, and a 30 kilowatt array at United Way. So that would be a total of about just under 700 megawatt hours per year. And James did some calculations looking at the 25-year CO2 offset. It would be just over 7,000 tons. For NOx, it would be about 17 or 18 tons of NOx, and then a negligible amount of sulfur dioxide, about 0.2 tons, and that's because there's not a lot of SO2 emissions from the power plant. So we discussed, or we decided that we would recommend the Appalachian Offsets Program from Greenbelt Alliance for a Clean Air Excellence Award. And does the board vote on that?
I think so. We normally do, yes.
So do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Would you, as the committee chair, put that in a form of a motion?
Motion. to award Greenbelt Alliance's Appalachian Offsets Program a Clean Air Excellence Award.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Anything else you would like to report?
No, I mean, there were a couple other things we talked about. One of them was the Asheville Beer Week function, which Ashley talked about. I gave some project updates from my low-cost sensors. Students are still putting together the data analysis for the Raspberry Pi PM 2.5 sensors that we put out at all of the Asheville City School campuses. We made correction factors because they had a low bias. They were measuring PM 2.5 that was well below what the agency's monitor was measuring. And we do see some evidence that there are heterogeneous concentrations across the city, and they do map somewhat to the old redlining maps. So parts of the city that were subject to racist housing discrimination a century ago do see higher air pollution levels or higher PM 2.5 levels.
And what was that due to? What was your assumption that was due to?
Underinvestment, and as a result of underinvestment in the residential properties, they were ripe for overdevelopment of industry, major highways, and commercial things. So, I mean, but when we see these differences, we're talking only about a couple of micrograms per cubic meter, because pretty much anywhere you go in the county, air quality is very good. But this is all preliminary. We're still working on getting the final numbers. And I think that about covers it. We're skipping the June meeting. A lot of people are going to be out of town, and we're going to reconvene in August in person at the East Asheville Library.
All right, thank you. Item C, calendar. Next meeting, July 11th, 2024. Everybody has that on their Outlook. D, announcements. Any announcements?
Sure. So I am moving to Grinnell College in January. So my last board meeting will be this November.
Well, we certainly wish you well, and I'm sure at that meeting we will recognize your contributions to the board.
Well, thanks, Carl. This has been a really good experience for me, and I know students at UNCA have really benefited from the closer connection with the agency.
Thank you. Item 8, public comment. Seeing no comment, item 9, adjournment. Is a motion needed to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second? All those say aye.
Aye.
That's it. We're done. Pretty good, 29 minutes.
Betsy, I think Gary made the second in case you
Oh,
missed.
thank you.
Yeah, Gary seconded it before Ned even got the motion out of his mouth.
Well, that
Carl, I
was
like
quick.
the way you run the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl keeps it going.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Carl.
All right.
Ashley, that picture, send that to the community channel.